Do you feel like you are on a hamster wheel? Maybe a hamster wheel of life where it just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. And sometimes it spins so fast you feel like you're going to be catapulted off of it. But either way, you know that if you jump off, it's going to be chaos. But if you stay on, it's still chaos. My friend, I have been there too, and I want to equip you with some ways to be able to get off of this hamster wheel. My name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, Quiet Confident Woman. My passion is building confidence in women, especially introverted women, and giving you tips to create a life that goes from chaos to a life of calm with different strategies you can implement throughout the day. If you love what you hear, make sure to subscribe to this channel, click the like button for this video, and go into the notes below and subscribe to my emails. You receive them only once a week. I'm not spamming you, but they're packed with helpful information and encouragement. So you are on this hamster wheel and you want to get off, but how in the world do you do that? Because it's spinning so fast, you feel as if you dive off of it, you're gonna get injured. Not like injured like break a leg, but injured like maybe you just can't handle the adjustment, or mentally or emotionally. It's just not worth it. And so we get caught in this trap of doing the same thing over and over again, even though it's chaos. But it's chaos that we are familiar with. And that's the big thing. See, our brain always is working to keep us safe. And that's a great thing. That's a really great thing. It keeps us from pulling out in front of a vehicle when we're driving down the road. It keeps us from getting too close to the edge of a cliff and possibly falling off. It keeps us safe. But it also takes everything that we've learned in the past and the experiences that maybe our friends have had in the past as well. And it takes those and it says, when you go to do something a little different, you're like, are you sure? Because in the past, X, Y, and Z happened, or Sally tried to do that and this happened. So it also is there kind of like resistance for us to change as well. So my approach in getting off a hamster wheel is not diving off. If you think of diving off a hamster wheel, I kind of think of it as New Year's resolutions. You aren't doing anything towards, let's say, getting healthy. Maybe you want to lose 50 pounds. And so you decide on January 1st, you are going to the gym 4 days a week. You are counting your calories. You are going to have so many steps in throughout the day. And up until December 31st, you had done none of that. So you are like leaping off this hamster wheel and you don't care. You are just going to do it. And there's some people that have great success with that, but the majority of people do not. And then they end up right back on the hamster wheel, maybe even running faster than what they had in the past. So my approach is just sticking an arm out of this hamster wheel, just sticking it out there and feeling the wobble of the wheel for a little bit. It's going to be a little bit wobbly, but you'll be able to balance again with your arms still out. And you find that instead of it going so fast, it has slowed down a little bit. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you stick a leg out and it's wobbly again. You feel the wobble, but you keep going through that little bit of wobble. And then you realize your hamster wheel has slowed down even more. That is what we're going for today. So let me give you some steps. I love steps, so I like to give you some steps to move through in order to accomplish the thing that I am talking about. So let me give you some steps on jumping off that hamster wheel. Let's look at the first step. That is to look at the different areas of your life that drive you absolutely insane. Whether it's complete chaos, whether it's frustration, whatever it is, look at maybe your daily or weekly routine and just see the patterns that repeat themselves over and over again that, like I said, drive you crazy. Maybe for a weekly routine, it's you want to go grocery shopping once a week, but then it ends up being every 10 days or every 14 days. And then that throws off your meals for the week. And it really costs you more time because you're at the grocery store way more frequently than what you want to be just going once a week. Maybe during a daily stress, it could be in the morning. Kids are getting up, getting ready for school. There's tons of yelling. Clothes are not picked out. You have no idea what to feed them for breakfast. So everybody ends up getting a Pop-Tart. And it is a high stress situation. Or maybe that's the way it is after work when you come home and everybody's saying, "What's for dinner, Mom? What's for dinner?" And you have no idea. And you look in the fridge and you're still not sure. And then you figure something out, but you're missing an ingredient. So then you have to run to the store. And it's a cycle that repeats over and over again. So look at the different areas of your life that you are thinking, oh, this does happen quite frequently. I could definitely use some more calm in this area, and just write them down. The second thing is to pick one area to focus on. Choose one of those things on your list. Now, my recommendation is to do this one of two ways. Either pick the one that is going to be the easiest to implement. It will give you a quick win. You can implement it with no problem. It will help adjust things a little bit, but it's not going to be hard. So start with that one, or start with the one that's going to make the biggest impact. Whether it be it's the thing that's driving you the nuts the most and it really needs to be addressed ASAP, or it's the thing that is going to filter maybe into the rest of your day or filter into the rest of these different areas that are driving you crazy and make the biggest impact. So pick out one of those two areas, either quick results or the one that is driving you the craziest. So number 3 is going to be, what is the end result that you desire? And so don't overthink this. A lot of times it's just the opposite of what you've just said. So if you're like, I want to do a morning routine because right now it's utter chaos, whatever is frustrating you. Nobody's eating breakfast, or maybe nobody has clothes ready. Whatever is frustrating you, what would create it to be a peaceful morning? What would that look like? Would it look like everyone's in the car on time, ready to go, with plenty of time to get to where you need to be? Would it look like there's not yelling there? And maybe it's noise to you may be different. Maybe you have 4 children, and so to be quiet in the morning is not really likely, but no screaming, that could happen. So whatever it's going to look like to you, what is the end result that you want to see? And then the 4th step is going to be, what do you need to change to get to that end result? And this is where sometimes strategies come in, and where it's nice to have someone come in and support you with this. And this is what I do. I help you think of different strategies of how can you get from point A to point B, what needs to change within there. So in this case of morning routine, it may be clothes can be laid out the day before. Maybe it can be meals are made prior to that morning, or maybe it's just a simple meal that can be done and you have allotted time for it. Maybe everybody knows when they need to get up in the morning and is up at that time, and knows when they need to get in the vehicle to leave, and they're in the vehicle at that time. So list out the different things that you would need to do to go from chaos to calm in that stretch of time. Now, next to all those things that you have listed, write what you can implement now and what you maybe need support, whether it's you just need to do a little research or whether you need support from somebody else in order to complete that. So this is step number 5. If you are looking at this list and you are thinking, okay, laying out clothes the night before, we can do that. we can do that. And maybe it's not even you that has to do that. If you have 4 children, a couple are old enough to be able to lay out their clothes the night before, maybe those two can help support the other two in getting clothes ready the day before as well. So it doesn't have to be that you have to do it all. It just needs to be, you need a knowing around how it can be accomplished. So go ahead and write down the things that you can implement right away and the things that may take a little bit of research or need more support with. Something that may need more support with, if you're thinking, I would like to have a healthier meal option than a Pop-Tart, then maybe you need to look on Pinterest for a little bit to find some recipes that are either quickly made in the morning or done ahead of time. Maybe you can do an egg bake at the beginning of the week and cut that into pieces where you just have to warm it up in the microwave in the morning. Or maybe it's popped in the freezer. You just take them out of the freezer and thaw them in minutes in the morning and breakfast is ready. So look for those and label them as to if you can implement it right away or if you're going to need support, whether it's support to research it your own or support that you're going to need to maybe enroll somebody else in. You're going to keep repeating step number 6 until you get through the entire list of things that you are going to implement. Now, with this though, I recommend implementing one thing at a time. Don't dive in. So if you're thinking, oh, I can start all of this now, I don't need to strategize about anything or bring in support from someplace else. We're going to lay out our clothes the night before. We're going to make breakfast the day before. We're going to get up at a certain time in the morning. We're going to be in the car at a certain time in the morning. We're going to do all of these things different. It very much is going to feel like you're on the hamster wheel of chaos going really, really fast and you're diving off of this into a different sort of chaos. Now, is it there to bring calm into your world? Yes, but if you go drastically from one thing to the next, one, it's probably not going to stick. 2, most likely everyone in your family doesn't have the same personality type. So there's going to be somebody who it brings more chaos to their life because they're used to something being a certain way and now it's drastically different. So if you implement one thing at a time, get that under control and then implement more things, it is going to be a lot more peaceful. This is what it's going to look like visually. You're spinning on this hamster wheel really, really fast. You stick a leg out because now you are going to be setting out clothes the night before. So you're sticking that leg out and the kids are getting their clothes ready. Maybe they're helping the younger kids get their clothes ready the night before. And the hamster wheel is still going. And now that you have this new system in place where everybody has clothes ready, you have a little bit more time in the morning because you're not having to run around figuring out clothes. And the hamster wheel is starting to slow down a little bit. It's slowing down a little bit. Even with your legs stuck out, you've kind of balanced the wobble and you're like, okay, now we're good. Let's add in breakfast. Let's do that. And then you figure out there's a little wobble when you adjust it a little bit and then it kind of balances itself out. And now you have the breakfast and you have the clothes and you're like, okay, this is good. This is good. And then you add in the next thing. Okay. Now I know that what you're thinking because I would be thinking it too. Well, how long do you add in one thing before you add in the next? That is dependent on you and your family. So if you add in one thing and it takes a month to figure it out, like you feel like you're on the right path, but it takes a little bit to figure it out, then I would say just keep on that for a little bit. Now, you could add in the one thing and after 2 days, you're like, we got this. We can add in something else. Great, add in something else. So basically you want to add in something. If you feel the wobble, wait till it evens out and then add in the next thing. Now, I know sometimes you want to start something and you want it to be, ooh, I have this morning routine down pat a week later. It is not likely to stick. And I really want the systems that you have in place to be here long term. So you don't go back to the hamster wheel. That is our purpose, not to go back to the hamster wheel. So go ahead, add things slowly. Be okay if it takes 3 months to get this under control. I know when I started our meal planning system, it took me, I would say, until I stopped adjusting things, which is the next step. I think until I stopped adjusting things, it was a year and a half. So that's number 7. Keep adjusting after everything is in play until you have a system that you like. And number 7 will never end. There'll always be something in life that will throw you off. There will always be something, a new puppy that could throw a system in like a total crazy whirlwind. How about a new child? Or maybe summer. Summer can throw off a morning routine like no other, okay? So know that as you move through, number 7 is always going to be there. And then you'll bounce to number 6 and be like, okay, what do we need to adjust and throw in to kind of like even out this hamster wheel a little bit, and keep going. Once that morning routine system is in place, then look at your list again and add something else. Do those small steps to get to a revised system slowly, okay? You don't want to do it fast. So slowly, and then you'll have 2 systems in place. Now, this may be 2 years later, but that's okay. That's okay. Our point is not to go back to the hamster wheel. It's to stay in a motion that's not crazy. All right, my friend, I would love to know, what is something in your day that you are like, it's complete chaos. I really need to work on adjusting this section of my life. Put it in the notes under the video here, or dive into Instagram or Facebook and send me a message. The links for those are in the notes as well. I would love to know what different areas of your life seem completely chaotic that you need some kind of structure around to get off of that hamster wheel. And you never know, in the future, I may do a video with that item and give you some pointers. All right, my friend, if I can support you in any way, please reach out. I am opening up 2 positions for one-on-one coaching starting next week, which is mid-April. If that's something that is interesting you, please reach out. I would love to support you.